Oh, come on. U.2, M.2, SSHD, SSD, HDD. Oh, my brain's gonna explode. Welcome back to FCW Tech. I'm your host Isaiah, and today I'm going to try to help you guys understand some acronyms relating to PC building, hardware, software, whatever, peripherals, everything. And this is going to be the first episode of it, but it won't be the last. Definitely let me know if and when you want to see the second episode, and I will definitely make that happen for you guys. So each episode is going to have a set of 10 terms per episode. Welcome to PC Acronym Attack. First up, we have DyAc. DyAc, or dynamic accuracy, is a technology proprietary to BenQ Zowie, the monitor company, used on their higher-end gaming monitors. It is designed to reduce eye-tracking motion blur. It replaced the company's blur reduction, featuring improved performance and clarity. Blur reduction is usually implemented by monitor brands via backlight strobing, which turns the backlight off during frame refreshes, thus shortening the amount of time a frame is displayed even more than simply using a high refresh rate monitor. DyAc uses a custom algorithm to strobe the backlight of the monitor. This reduces motion blur during intense gaming sessions. Next up, we have a very simple one that you've probably heard many times before, and that is DIMM, D-I-M-M. A DIMM is a dual inline memory module, or a RAM stick, random access memory stick. You're probably familiar with RAM sticks, which sit to the right of the CPU, central processing unit, on the motherboard. A DIMM comprises a series of RAM chips arranged on a circuit board. DIMMs are used in desktop PCs, laptops, printers, and other devices. A SODIMM is a small outline dual inline memory module, so it's a type of DIMM. It's a memory module with a small outline and thickness that is primarily used in laptops, so long story short, it's smaller. Next up is HAGS. While it's also a fun thing to write in a friend's school yearbook, HAGS can also mean Hardware Accelerated GPU Scheduling, which is a setting in Windows 10 that allows your GPU, graphics processing unit, to control its own VRAM, video RAM, rather than the operating system controlling the VRAM. Microsoft and NVIDIA claim that enabling HAGS can reduce latency and improve performance, claims that have been put to the test by reviewers. In reality, it only improves performance by a tiny bit, 1 to 2 FPS, and according to Gamers Nexus, it doesn't really reduce latency either. Don't run this feature in conjunction with RTX Voice or NVIDIA Broadcast, however, as it will cause GPU usage to spike, and when in-game, RTX Voice performance will suffer greatly if you have HAGS enabled. Next is SKU, and you may never have heard it pronounced SKU before, but what it means is it's a stock keeping unit. It's the number of one specific product available for sale. So every product is assigned, like an item number, and that's what it is. Every individual one. So like if I have a GTX 1060 Ventus 2X and someone else has a GTX 1060 Ventus 2X, it'll have different SKUs. It's conveniently pronounced SKU, or people pronounce it SKU. So people often refer to CPU SKUs in reviews when they really mean SKUs. For example, like someone might say, I would not recommend the Intel K SKU, but what they're really saying is SKU. So, if a hardware or software package comes in different versions, there is an SKU for each one. SKUs are commonly referred to as part numbers, product numbers, and product identifiers. Next on the list is TIMM, which is a boy's name, but is also the thermal interface material. It provides efficient thermal exchange between the processor and the cooling solution, air cooler or liquid cooler. Also referred to as thermal compound or thermal paste. Thermal paste is often used, but there are other types of thermal compound. Proper installation of the TIMM is crucial for performance and temperatures of the CPU. So to summarize, TIMM means thermal paste, basically. IHS, very directly related to the TIMM. So the TIMM is applied to the integrated heat spreader, or IHS, of the CPU. The IHS is the metal exterior lid of a CPU, often regarded as the top of the CPU. It serves as a protective shell around the processing silicon and a pathway for heat to be exchanged between the CPU and the CPU cooler, of course, via the TIMM. Next is UEFI/BIOS, another one you've probably heard a lot. The Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, UEFI, is a specification that defines a software interface between an operating system and platform firmware. Yeah, that sounds really confusing, but it does the same job as a BIOS, which means basic input/output system, and many people use the words interchangeably, but with one basic difference. The UEFI stores all data about initialization and startup in a .EFI file instead of storing it on the firmware. That may seem confusing, but it's basically the same as the BIOS. So the BIOS/UEFI is where the PC boots to when it boots for the first time. It contains settings for the CPU, memory, GPU, fans, etc. Next is DRAM/SRAM. So you may be confused. What's the difference between RAM and DRAM, or RAM and SRAM? Well, I'm going to tell you. Dynamic random access memory, DRAM, is the type of RAM that stores each bit of data in a memory cell consisting of a tiny capacitor and a transistor, both typically based on metal oxide semiconductor, or MOS, technology. Static RAM, SRAM, is faster and more expensive than DRAM, and it's more common than DRAM, which is more common. DRAM is more common because it's cheaper. SRAM is made up of 4 to 6 transistors. It keeps data in the memory as long as power is supplied to the system, unlike DRAM, which has to be refreshed periodically. You may have heard people say to steer clear of DRAM-less SSDs. In relation to SSDs, DRAM is very important. DRAM-less SSDs store the data straight to the NAND, short for not and, used in Boolean functions and propositional functions, flash memory, so NAND flash memory, which is slower than DRAM. Yeah, I have no idea what Boolean functions and propositional functions are either. Apparently it has to do with calculus, at least some of it. I don't know, I've heard the term Boolean functions before, but don't get me started, dude. I don't know. This also results on more wear and tear on the memory cells. Last up for today's video is CAS, C-A-S, short for Column Access Select or Column Access Strobe. CAS is a signal that the CPU or other hardware device, such as a GPU, sends to the RAM. The signal contains information about what column in the computer memory has the data being requested. The CAS latency, CL, is the total time it takes a memory controller to send a request to and receive a response from a memory column, hence why a lower CAS latency is better. Hopefully I could really help you guys understand some terms today, some complicated terminology out there, I know, and I will continue to educate you guys about this in the future, so if you're excited, click that like button, of course. Give me any recommendations. My brain is fried right now. It's like 8:37 in the morning. Anyways, and I'm not at school, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, any suggestions down below? Someone left a great comment on my Have Unlimited Money Build This PC video about why they chose the MSI X570 Godlike, and I pinned that comment. You guys should go check out that comment. A very good, informative comment. Anyways, just want to highlight my fans and what they're doing out there. I'll put that comment on screen, of course. So yeah, that was Isaiah from FTW Tech. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys.